Okay, figured I'd show my other mag drill here. Drilling out some 1 inch by 2 inch solid bar stock. And if I'm, working on something flat where, this isn't going to fall over if the magnet fails, then I like to use this one here. Of course, I got the Milwaukee mag drill with the permanent magnet on it, which is really nice if you have to stick it on the side of a frame or whatever. But it is, the just pros and cons to each of them. It is kind of a pain in the ass sitting there cranking on the dial for the magnet there. And if you watch my other video about the Milwaukee mag drill, you can see that there's kind of a lot of play in that one just by the nature of how it's put together. Like, it's got the quick release on the chuck, which is nice. It's really fast to change, but there's more play to it. There won't be a good way to show this on camera, but this mag drill here is much tighter. Like, where the cutter goes into the collet is much tighter. There's no play to that whatsoever, but it's because it has 2 grub screws on it. So one here and one here, which, just trade-offs to everything in life. This one is a little bit slower because it's got the screws on it, but it holds it much, much tighter. And the whole motor assembly is much tighter as well too. And of course this one, has got adjustments on the side of it too. But yeah, so if I'm working, flat on a surface, or, you're going to be punching a shitload of holes, then this one is really nice because you don't have to trade out batteries or anything. And it's a lot easier to move it around and everything because, button on the back and then it's locked in place. Flip the button again and then you can move it around. This one here, the controls on it, you got toggle switch for the magnet, and then you have a guarded button to turn it on, which is nice because it's, like if you were just accidentally hit it or whatever, you're not going to turn the motor on. But and then of course too, if you turn the motor on and turn the magnet off, it'll shut the motor down too. I do like on the Milwaukee better how the on-off for the motor is actually on the motor itself. Like the switch itself, I don't know that I'm the biggest fan of the switch itself, but I like that it's on the motor. Because what I find myself end up doing sometimes is I will reach around to, just want to turn the motor off, and I end up accidentally bumping the magnet just because they're all, really close right here. So that part's kind of annoying. But yeah, basically everything on this mag drill is tighter with less play, but is slower to do than the Milwaukee. So like on the Milwaukee, the handle is just a like 1/2 inch ratchet drive, so it's really fast to take on and off and swap sides. This one here has got a little screw on it. Thankfully though, it looks like this is just probably like I would guess like a 9/16 size hex head. So the handle portion here is just basically a socket. So nothing fancy or special, no stupid spline drive or nothing like that. But so you can see there's a little bit of backlash in the rack and pinion, but other than that is very, very tight. Yeah, so made in USA, and that is the model information there. All in all, too, this is better build quality than the Milwaukee. The only plastic on it is plastic guard right here for where the hell, I don't even know what you call it, where the track goes up and down in the frame. The handle here is plastic, which is kind of weird, and this back cover that has the switches on it is plastic. And then, of course, you can see it's got like little I don't know, like Teflon or something sliders on here, but everything else on it is metal. Of course, the brush caps are some kind of non-conductive thing. Don't know what exactly, but those obviously aren't metal. But, and, you know, I guess rubber or plastic on the handles here, but way less plastic than the Milwaukee. And it's cool. It does have a grease fitting on here. So it's, of course, got the coolant set up just like the Milwaukee, where you can run coolant through the cutter if you want. I don't use that unless I'm just, you know, punching hole after hole after hole after hole, because unfortunately this one leaks. And my Milwaukee actually leaks a little bit too. Like, they're not perfectly sealed, which is annoying. I really wish that they were. I've probably had this mag drill about 8 years now, and when I first got it, I sent it out for warranty because this was leaking. And I don't remember exactly what the situation was, but there was some kind of fiasco of, like, it got lost at the factory or some shit like that or whatever, and they sent me another mag drill back. Like, it wasn't this individual one, and it was a demo unit that was in, like, not bad condition, but it had more wear on it than this one did, especially at the time. And so that kind of ticked me off, and it was kind of a process to get, like, this individual serial number back. So, you know, wasn't too pleased about that. But other than that, it works great. It's, of course, less fancy than the Milwaukee. You know, it doesn't have the little light on it. It's not a 2-speed. There's no, you know, there's no speed change on the gearbox whatsoever. It's just 1 speed. That's it. That's all you got. But, like I said, this is faster to move around, as far as the magnet goes. And, I'm sure that this will last a lot longer than the Milwaukee as well, too, just because, you know, it's kind of more industrial, if you will. But anyways, I guess enough talking about that. If you do want to know something more specific, or I didn't mention something that you wanted me to say or something, just let me know, and I can address that in the future. So, got a pretty good sized vise with a nice big old flat spot on the top of it that I'm going to use to drill this, because the base on the mag drill is like 4 inches wide, and this is only 2 inches wide, so it just doesn't get a chance to magnet on there too well. And I just, you know, make sure that this is all nice and squared up and everything. And get my earplugs in, because it is pretty loud, and I don't like messing around with that. And yeah, I guess just looking at it here, I did add 25 foot of rigid extension cord onto this mag drill, as you can see here. Like, you know, it probably doesn't say rigid on it anywhere anymore, but if you recognize the colors, I really like doing that on everything that I have. I hate using extension cords. And granted, this mag drill did come with, you know, I don't know, about 12 feet of cord or something like that. But it was only like, I think 16 gauge or some crazy shit like that. It was actually pretty small. And 12 feet just isn't enough, I find. Like, for the majority of what you do. Where 25 feet, granted, it's just a little bit more, but I feel like that gives that 90% of the time gets you far enough to where you don't have to run an extension cord. And especially on a tool like this, the more you reduce the chances of somebody kicking the extension cord, tripping over it, or whatever, the better. Because, you know, if you have like an angle grinder or something like that, you know, big whoop, it just shuts off. Well, this thing here, the magnet is a electromagnet. So if you lose power, this thing is no longer magnetized to whatever the fuck it's stuck to. And obviously don't want a roughly $1,000 tool crashing down to the ground. Which, like I said, is what I really freaking like about the Milwaukee, is that because it has a permanent magnet on it, it's safer. Not only, you know, not only would it suck to have this thing come crashing down on your head, but you also just don't want to do any damage to the tool, obviously. So you'll notice when I get to cutting here that the cutter is not sharpened properly, and that is because I did it by hand. And I haven't tried it on this 1-inch yet. I did cut some, I did punch some holes in some 3/8 plate earlier, and it was doing decent. I will eventually send out the cutter to get, you know, sharpened proper wise, but I need to drill these holes tonight, not in 2 weeks after it comes back from that. So if it seems a little janky, that's why. And I am certainly no fucking expert on sharpening these things by hand. Although it is a shitload better than it was, so I can't complain too much about that. So, as you can tell, that's not as sharp as it should be. But like I said, it's a crap load better than it was. And it does the trick. So for now it'll have to do. But so this is what's nice about it is, you know, you just flip a switch, move it around, flip the switch again, it's magneted down, ready to go. If you haven't watched my other video, what I have the coolant in is a weed sprayer bottle. Because the majority of the time I prefer doing that than running it through the cutter. So you could see when first started the hole there that the thing was wobbling around. There's twofold for why it was doing that. For one is because of my very unprofessional way of sharpening the cutter, but it's also because the magnet is partly hanging off the vise here, and so you can see like here's like the circle cut out for where the coil is. And I've noticed that if you don't have 100% of the base on the surface, it'll the magnet force will like drop off exponentially, which, you know, again, is just a trade-off of the electromagnet versus the permanent magnet on the Milwaukee. The Milwaukee seems to be like a linear drop-off of contact area, and I don't know why that is. You know, maybe I'm sure somebody out there has got a better understanding, well, or an understanding in the first place of why that happens, but I have noticed that. But yeah, there she is. Really kick ass. I love it, and I really love having both mag drills because they're both they both have different strengths and weaknesses, and it's quite nice to have the two of them and pick which one is best for the task at hand.